What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Got my co-host Jaelen Gilkey. You might know him as Silky Gilkey. Online on the internet, over the airwaves. We bringing you episode number 9 of that Dukes of Gridiron podcast.
Nah, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it.
We
First
at
of all,
number
shout out,
9.
shout out to Crosby Hall, man. You see the hat, Crosby Kid,
Hey, talk
the
to him.
most illustrious university in the history
Oh
of
man,
universities.
plug him,
Come
plug
on
him.
now,
We
the
hey,
largest and number one HBCU in the world,
hey, got
North
got the
Carolina
biggest
Agricultural and
homecoming.
Technical State University. Come on, man, the
You
greatest to ever
you
do it.
telling you ain't been to a homecoming if you ain't been to G-Ho, man.
Nah, nah. And once you go to GO, you ain't going nowhere else.
Man, that's how they was getting them football recruits. We going.
Easy, easy. It's touchy subject. Touchy subject. Touchy subject.
Oh my God! But we back at it, man. And first off, we got to start with those Duke Blue Devils. Of course, we know Coach Mike Elko is out the door, secured that bag. We kind of talked about it a little bit last week with Riley Leonard. What was he gonna do? I felt like he was gonna hop in the portal.
He was on it.
He wasn't worried about that degree, obviously. Maybe he getting it on the summer. I don't know what he doing with the Duke situation, but he out of there, and he got a no contact clause, so it's pretty much assumed that he knows where he's going right now.
Mm-hmm.
We see it's probably Notre Dame. They get another ACC quarterback, but looking at the Duke situation, like you can't blame him for transferring. You know, we understand he's looking out for his pro opportunities, pro aspirations, but how much sense would it make for him just to link up with Elko at Texas A&M? Like, am I overthinking this here?
Nah, man, I think you're on the right track. I'm not 100% as to what Elko's staff looks like right now. I know he was still making some hires last time I heard from him, which was, I think, Thursday. Last time I heard him speak, he's still in the process of hiring staff and whatnot. But I think going where your head coach is, a guy that, help bring you in, help
Yeah.
establish your name amongst, the top quarterbacks in the country. I think that's probably an easier transition. I would imagine, he's going to run an offense that he's familiar with already, something that he's comfortable with. So I'd imagine Riley will be able to pick that up, fairly quickly. But regardless, he got into Duke, and like you said, it looks like he's going to Notre Dame. So he's a bright kid. So regardless,
you know what I'm saying?
He should be able to figure it out. I think the most interesting thing about this whole Riley Leonard transfer portal Notre Dame speculation situation is why can't Notre Dame get their own quarterback? Why can't they get their own quarterback?
Or at least one outside of North Carolina, bro. Like, why they keep they plugging the ACC?
They would say they know how to ruin. They know how to ruin my weekends. Boy, I tell you what.
Hey man, Notre Dame on the prowl. Riley Leonard, man, we know, obviously Duke's gonna be down a few players. I know they at least 5 players now hopped in the portal. They're gonna be down a few in the Birmingham Bowl. I don't think. I mean, you might have heard. I haven't heard anything about is Coach Elko gonna coach that game, or is he out of there?
I don't think he is. He's already from when I last saw him spoke, he was already in his office in Texas A&M College Station.
Man,
preparing everything, trying to recruit and building for next year. Which I mean, we can't blame him for that because we got the early signing day coming up, and then we got national signing day coming up shortly after that. So I mean, it's important to get that head start and do your job and do what you have to do. So I can't blame Coach Elko for that. The interim coach, his name is slipping my mind right now, but I know the athletic director Nina King said she has spoken with him about.
So they promoting within the family.
Yeah, they're going to have an interim for right now, and then we'll see what happens. Then do a hiring process, interviews. But it's a gloomy time right now in Duke football. Just when it seemed like things were getting on the right track, that it might be a detour. It might have blown an air brake or something on the train.
Man.
It's something ain't quite right. It's gonna be a transition. Hopefully they can get a guy in that can continue to build off of what Coach Elko has, and they keep getting the guys in. That's gonna be the most important thing.
Facts.
They're not gonna be a big player in the transfer portal ever, and then they're gonna have to recruit, high character, high academic guys come out of Durham. So there's still pieces, to work with for the next coach and the next batch of guys. I know we kind of hit on the 5 guys in the portal, but
yeah,
the cupboard's not all the way empty. But it's getting a little scarce.
It's
It's getting a little
slim
scarce.
pickings, man. I know so far from what I've seen, Jaden Watkins has entered the portal. Anenas Peebles has entered the
Yeah,
portal.
Peebles, that's gonna hurt.
That's tough. Another defensive lineman, RJ Oben, has entered the portal as well. Jaelen Stinson, another skill player, also entered the portal. So one big name we haven't seen, Jordan Moore, probably the most explosive weapon on that offense.
For sure.
I know people are reaching out to this kid. I'm not gonna say the writing's on the wall, but it wouldn't be
It
a
would only make
shocker.
sense, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking at him, and
And
it's like, what would be the not what would be the point of staying, but like it I feel like he got better
you put good
opportunities.
tape out there on a high level.
Yeah.
And hey, I wouldn't be surprised if Uncle Nick was calling, Kirby and those boys were calling. I wouldn't be surprised if any of the big time powerhouse programs in the nation were calling Jordan Moore. I mean, just because of what he's shown to be.
Yeah. He a stud, man.
He's balling out, bro. He balled out. So I mean, you put good tape out there now with the transfer portal, you got options, and why not explore? You don't have to leave, and I'd imagine the next coach will be cool with you staying because of the situation with Elko. So,
Facts.
and plus, you can't just tell good players no, you can't come back when you're trying to take over a program like Duke.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You know, if you know, like I know, Coach Elko got to have his eye on some of them guys because
Oh yeah, I'd imagine let's say he got them old boys on him. We say, hey, so I got this kid.
we need to make something happen. We need a
Let's
bag.
put a nice stimulus package together for
You
him,
know what I'm
man.
saying? We need to drop something off at the
Let's
front
get him. Let's
door
get him down here to the desert.
right now. And I mean, you know, he playing catch up, man. He trying to compete with the Georgias and the Alabamas of the world.
Texas, Oklahoma on the way too.
Yeah, man, that division, that conference is not getting any easier anytime soon. Duke got the Birmingham Bowl going to play Troy, the Sun Belt champions. They beat App State, so it'll be interesting to see what they do, man. But it's a lot of action going on in the portal.
The kid, what's his name? The running back.
You
He
talking
had
about
5
Waters?
touchdowns. No, Troy.
Oh,
The boy had 5 touchdowns in the Sun Belt championship game.
yeah,
Kimani Vidal.
okay. So what they need to be on the lookout for?
Kimani Vidal. You better lock in.
Man, he put App State away. He put them boys away.
I think he had 2 touchdowns over 30 yards.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he had 2 goal lines and then maybe like a 15.
Oh, he was getting loose.
What?
He was getting loose.
250 plus on 26 touches, I think.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. He would I was sitting there watching that game like, hey man, somebody stop that.
Hey, and then you looking at Duke's defense, man. Some of those big defensive linemen we've grown accustomed to seeing done already hit the portal. So
Peebles.
Man, it could be
But I'm telling you, hey, that's the guy to watch out for in this Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah.
Kimani Vidal.
He might be running wild, man. Duke,
bro.
You know, pride might be hurt a little bit.
Number 28.
Yeah. Oh, he wearing AP number.
Oh,
he gotta get off. He gotta get off.
Hey, he went bananas. Hold on, I got the stats right here. So, App State 26 carries, 233, 9 a clip, long of 49, 5 touchdowns.
God, 5 of them.
5 of them.
God.
Ended the season with 14.
Oh yeah. That's a top. Sure, we talking about the portal. He might be hitting the portal, man.
He might be hitting the portal. You know what I'm
saying, man? See,
Kimani Vidal, Troy, not far from Auburn.
You know what
I'm
saying?
Not far from Alabama.
And they need to be calling. Auburn, especially, man. I don't know what they got going on, man. It's too much talent in Alabama for them to be slacking. But
well, I mean, you know, they got sanctions, man. You know, when you're in Auburn, and even Jameis Winston touched on it a little bit. You know, Jameis Winston from Hueytown, which is like maybe 20 minutes outside from downtown Birmingham. It's Birmingham.
Okay.
He told he was on the podcast with Mark Ingram and Cam Jordan. He was talking about how he didn't even get recruited by Auburn.
What?
Because like either the governor or like the state senators and was like, nah, he not He's like, y'all can't offer him. He's going to Bama or he's leaving the state. Like,
Oh, so basically you said like Bama get first dibs.
first
Like,
dibs. First dibs. And it'll get political on you.
oh man, they got the governor involved. That's
Folks,
crazy.
hey, I'm telling people like that talking about some, nah, y'all don't even offer him.
Oh
Because it ain't
man.
no point because he's not coming. If you come there,
See, man,
it's gonna be a price to pay.
they
It's a
forever little
it's a
brother.
nasty world,
Yeah,
man.
hey,
This
this is
college football
nasty
is a nasty
business.
world,
This
bro.
is nasty business. And we saw that with what happened to Florida State, man. Nasty,
No, that's a
nasty
perfect
business.
segue, wasn't it?
Yeah, well,
It
hey,
was like, speaking of Jameis,
you know what I'm saying?
look at you. Look at you know what you're doing.
Hey, come on now. You know me, baby. I'm saying though, bro, like it seemed like from what I've read, like Florida State was the number 4 team heading into Saturday night, and then Sunday morning, maybe some palms got greased. I don't know. They saying ESPN on it, in on it. Like I done say all types of stuff about this, bro.
But B, we can run the tape back. Last week, I told you, I said if Alabama beats Georgia,
You said it. They was in.
I said they in, and I said they might both get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said
And
if Alabama beats Georgia, they're in.
yeah. I mean the SEC champ. You're right. They did not leave them
Be the
out.
team. I mean, everybody knows what's going on now. The spill, 29 straight games. This is the
Yeah.
team. This is the team people been trying to beat since 2019, basically.
Facts. And ain't nobody had an
Basically,
answer. Ain't
nobody.
nobody.
You know, so it's like, well, because they won 20, well, they won 21, 22, and 19. They lost in the national championship to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So after beating Alabama in the SEC championship game, so it's just like we knew what was going on, man. I did
Tough.
personally.
It's tough,
I feel
man.
as you know, us as an ACC program and
Yeah, it's tough.
covering an ACC team, we understand. I mean, would have loved to see Florida State get that representation in there,
Right.
to be in the first college football playoff and then be in the last 4. The
Mm-hmm.
last with this format.
Right. Right.
But me personally as a voter, if I was on that board, I would have had a hard time leaving out either Alabama or Georgia. After that, not only after the game and how the game, was competitive but just knowing the seasons that these two put together. I mean, the only
Yeah.
game Georgia lost the only game Alabama lost was to another playoff team.
Right. And they might be the hottest team in college football right now. Like they might have had the best growth, the most growth from week
Yeah,
1 to now.
for sure.
So I
Like
get that.
they only loss was to a playoff team, the
Right.
Big 12 champion.
Right.
I know Florida State doesn't have a loss, but their biggest loss was losing their quarterback
And that
and
I
then
mean
losing the backup quarterback.
that's crazy, man. I never knew. I guess I never took into consideration that they considered in the vote like what players are available. So when you see Ohio State go with Cardale Jones, the 3rd string, and I'm not comparing because that was 2 different teams, and we could see like in the Big Ten championship, Ohio State won
That's
like
what I'm saying. They
59 to
won. No,
0.
it was 59 to
You
nothing.
know,
So after that performance, okay, we're
yeah.
comfortable with putting y'all in.
So Florida State biggest loss was they didn't win impressive enough, other than Jordan Travis going down.
Against Louisville,
Yeah,
right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
3-3 going into the third quarter. Well, 3-3 at halftime or whatever the score was
Mm-hmm.
at the ACC championship game. Like, to Louisville, who is a good team, a top
Yeah.
15 team at the time for
Right.
sure.
Right.
But nah, dog, that's not gonna get it done. When Alabama rolls the number 1 team in the country, who had been number 1 basically from start to end.
For
You
like the
know,
last 2 years, bro, they ain't really dropped off. And I get it. Like, I feel like Florida State, like, 1, you can only play who's in front of you.
mm-hmm.
2, it's not their fault the ACC was lackluster more so than it should have been with teams like Carolina losing to
Carolina.
Virginia.
But
You know what I'm
see, but people
saying?
don't want to really talk about that. That if Carolina was better
It
this
would have,
year,
right.
if Carolina actually lived up to the hype and expectations once again, then it would make the conference stronger. But
Right.
because Carolina lose 3 games every year,
Right. To
and
nobody's.
bruh,
Every year.
you know what I'm
Every
saying?
year.
You lose 3
Every year.
games every year, and you almost lose to App State 2
Yeah.
years in a row. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So like, with the program that's supposed to have a top 5 pick coming out, at the quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
you got Tez Walker who's gonna get drafted, you
Right.
know, a bevy of other guys who will probably hear their name called. You know,
Absolutely. One of the best
understand they
running
never
backs in the nation. Yeah.
played a football school. Exactly, one of the best running backs in the nation. Definitely the best running back in the conference. But y'all keep putting duds out there, and it's hurting the conference.
Mm-hmm.
It's hurting the conference. There's no other way to describe it because you're losing to Virginia.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you're losing to Virginia. You were their second win of the year. After beating the only other team they had beat up to that point was William and Mary, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And it was
sad.
close.
Yeah, it was. That was a dog fight. It really was, bro. And it's sad because I think this was the wrong year for them to be bad. Clemson was bad. Like the
That's
ACC
what I'm
was,
saying.
they was down.
ACC was right there for Carolina to pick. And
Yeah.
another thing that hurt Clemson, of course, them being not what we're used to them being,
Right.
which also cost Florida State.
So I
It's just
mean,
what it is.
you know, Alabama running the gauntlet, beating Georgia, beating teams like Ole Miss, that was a top 10 team. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna move the needle more than
Right. And because Florida State's best win of the year was against LSU week
week
one.
one. So they're beating Florida,
And
a
guess
weak
and
Florida
LSU lost
team.
what 4 games this year.
Yeah, I mean
So it
they
does.
finished strong, but yeah, I mean they were 2-0 against SEC. Florida was weak. That also hurt
That's
them.
what I'm saying. Like
Florida was trash.
trash,
And
and y'all struggling with them, but it's because Jordan Travis is out.
right. So if Jordan Travis healthy, they're in.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's no way to reasonably argue that they could not be in or should not be in. I think if Jordan Travis is healthy, personally, and Alabama still beats Georgia, I think Alabama's in over Texas.
And that's tough because I mean, how do you justify them jumping Texas, losing to Texas by double digits at home though?
Well, we've been ranked higher than you all, literally since probably week 4.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the number 1 team in the country, the most impressive win over the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
Run the gauntlet. Now they beat Ole Miss, who was a top 10 team. They beat
Yeah.
number 1 Georgia, and it was another top 15 team they beat on their schedule. I can't remember. Was it Tennessee? Maybe Tennessee was top 15 then.
Yeah, they
And
beat
they
Tennessee.
blew the doors off Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Texas loses to Oklahoma State.
No, they beat Oklahoma State. They
No,
lost to
they lost to
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You're right. They lost to Oklahoma, who finished maybe 25.
Yeah, they was one. They lost to Oklahoma State, so they was one loss out of the playoff or out of the conference championship. So they lost that one. But I'm also looking back at Alabama, and I'm like, they needed a miracle to beat a whack 6-6 Auburn team.
Yeah, but you got to take that as it's the rivalry game. Like this is their biggest game of the year. They don't care about anything else up until this point. It was probably week, and me saying week 5 is probably still after they began to prepare for Alabama. But week 5, when Auburn is struggling and they're probably 3-2, whatever, their whole focus shifted to the Alabama game.
Yeah, that was their Super Bowl.
Because they knew their season was done. They weren't going to the SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't going to play for anything but a regular bowl game. Their whole focus went to Alabama. And it's on the road at your biggest rival, in-state, conference game. Like, those factors, you add all those up, it's going to be a tough win. It's just like in the NFL when you're playing a division game.
Mm-hmm.
And, it doesn't matter who it is, whether you're the Colts who have struggled in Jacksonville forever.
Right.
And no matter how terrible Jackson is, the Colts go to Jacksonville and lose because that's just the division. They're familiar with each other. They know each other. You know the coaching staff. You know the playbook. You know everything about each other.
Yeah. I mean, definitely records most
and
times
then
are thrown out the
show,
window.
Right. And then the show just to have that perseverance and to be able to succeed when so much adversity was in your face against an Auburn team with those stakes. I think that shows more of why you deserve to be in than, blowing out our Auburn team 45-7 or whatever because, they were a weak program.
Man, I'm impressed with the growth of Jalen Milroe. Like, I'm a fan
Me
of
too,
his. Man. I'm a big fan of his, the resiliency, that mental aspect of the game. Definitely got some Jalen Hurts about him. And I get the Bama pick. Like, for me, I feel like Florida State was deserving. I think it's a kill shot to the ACC that Florida State, you can go undefeated, be the ACC champion, and get treated like you a Mountain West champion. They got jumped, whatever. But for matchup purposes,
they got hit with the UCF.
They did the Boise State of 08, you know what I'm saying? But for matchup purposes, of course, Bama is the better team right now. They're the better matchup.
Yeah, you seen them boys' faces.
Oh, Michigan
when they cut the Michigan.
What? Them boys did not want to see Bama.
1, 2, 3. They was okay. Now let's see who we got.
What? Them boys
they
did
popped
not
that big
Bama.
A up on that screen. What the boys at?
Suck the whole life out the room.
They don't even want to go no more.
They know what time it is, man. And Alabama, like, I get it, man. Nick Saban sounded off. I don't know what kind of blackmail he got on the college football committee, but he sounded off, and they listened to him. So I get it. The best four teams. The thing
is, man, when you the greatest to ever do something, your name hold weight. He pull. He ain't got to pull no strings. The strings are pulled for him.
Yep.
He don't have to dirty his hands.
That's the godfather, man, of college football right there, bro.
What he said? He leaned over to his man to tell him, "Hey, man, we win this SEC championship game, man. You know we need that 4th spot." All right, now don't make me tell you again.
Straight like that.
Did they went up there and put that boot to that butt? They put that boot down in Atlanta. He ain't even had to call. He already knew. He wasn't waiting on nothing.
I'm telling you, they went to sleep that night. Saban already knew before his head
told
hit
the
the
boys,
pillow.
Hey, let's get a good rest. I'm going to give y'all this week off. We already talked about he said we're going to the playoffs, so I need y'all boys to stay locked in. Don't even worry about tomorrow. We're not gonna do no watch party for everybody. We in there.
We ain't even see the watch party.
We the only team don't do a watch party.
It wasn't no reaction. It wasn't no reaction video for Bama. Them boys knew what was up. It wasn't no reaction.
We not gonna do no watch party. We know we in. Everybody else act like they ain't never been there before. Well, guess what? They ain't won it. We done won it a couple times since they switched to this format. Would you say we won old format, new format? Don't matter.
It don't matter, bro. And I mean, I think the expansion will help with so this never happens again. 12-team expansion, but
you know how it go, Brandon. Everybody always want to find a reason to cry, man.
It go like that, bro.
So let's see who number 13 right now.
Somebody. I mean, you still see it with the NCAA tournament,
exactly, bro.
But as a ACC team, knowing that you could go undefeated and be left out, bro, are you? I'm looking around like, should we be jumping ship? Like, can we win in this conference? Are we still a Power 5 conference right now in the eyes of the people?
Well, yeah, absolutely, because there's more than one sport.
Absolutely, basketball ain't
basketball and baseball. ACC is a Power 5.
Lacrosse too. Lacrosse,
track. You know what I'm saying? So these are Power 5. It's a Power 5. I mean, it's going with Power 4 now.
But that college football is a beast, man.
I mean, it is the mover. It's the needle mover, right?
And that's the thing. That's what all this realignment is about, truly. And it's crazy to me, man. Florida State got done like that. I feel bad for them and the kids.
I'm not surprised in the slightest. Like I said, I told you last week what was gonna happen.
You did. And
Georgia was gonna lose.
I'm shocked.
And Bama's in.
The first undefeated Power 5 conference champion to ever be left out the playoff, bro.
We said you say Florida State, you always be remembered in history.
Them boys better not go get blown out by Georgia. I know that much. Them boys better not go down there and get their heads smacked off by Georgia, man.
They lucky though. I don't think Brock Bowers gonna play, so you lucky.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing that's gonna say Georgia gonna have a lot of boys that's not playing.
And that deep, man, they thirsting. Them freshman defensive line probably about to get after the young buck.
What's called Triad's on Jamal Jarrett probably about to get a lot of
big fella. Big fella, Grimsley in the building. Yeah,
he probably gonna get a lot of spin down there in this bowl game.
Talk about a future possibly pro prospect. He got
the tank, bro.
He got the size, the mechanic.
I met him his junior year. He was 15. He was like
Travis Shaw on the same line.
He was like 6'4", probably 330, bro. I was like, he's like, I'm 15.
Bro, I remember when he transferred from Smith. Yeah, bro. Him and Trav on that line was crazy at Grimsley, boy. For sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see some of the young guys get the run for Georgia, man. Florida State, it's unfortunate. 6-year senior Jordan Travis. My man said he wish he'd have blown his leg out earlier so they could have saw how good the team was. That's
a crazy quote, ain't it?
That's team first. I ain't never heard it
What's
before.
called? Yeah, but it'd have been better for his draft stock too if he'd have blew his leg out first.
Yeah, he could have
Hey
recovered.
man, but shout out to Keon Coleman. Let's not
Oh
get
yeah,
lost.
the truth.
That boy
The
cold.
truth,
Hey,
man.
that boy
Yeah.
cold.
I mean,
Let's get him in the first round.
we talking
Somebody
day
call
one,
him Carolina. Oh, we don't have no picks. We ain't got no
man.
picks. We
Them
can't even
boys.
get Keon Coleman pick 20. Do we even have any picks to trade up?
Ain't no way. Them boys done blew the
We had
whole
to trade a
cupboard.
2028 pick to get
Yeah.
into the second round of
Them,
2024.
them boys done blew the whole cupboard. Done that man. Wow. Man, I can't even. I'm just shaking my head, man. I don't even know how to feel, bro. I'm up here in Rochester. I'm like, the Bills is my
Yeah,
AFC team now. I
you
ain't even,
disassociated now. You know what I'm saying? You don't even
you know what I'm
claim
saying?
Carolina. They
I
say
don't,
where your mama and them live. I don't even know.
man.
They live somewhere down south.
I forgot. They just moved. Man.
Don't call me.
Nah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, bro. But before we wrap, man, I just kind of want to touch on the transfer portal a little bit. As far as like any names you saw, were you surprised by any big names that jumped in?
Yeah. Kyle McCord.
Hey, they got him
What did he
up
say?
out of
One
there.
and done, my boy. Ryan Day said we said appreciate your service, but can't have that. We ain't had no style points with you, my boy. We ain't had no
Nah.
style points, and we lost to Michigan. Can't have both of those.
And
At
broke through
least
an
you know,
interception to lose.
like it's what I'm saying. If Stroud and them boys was, Stroud they lost to Michigan. Fields
Mm-hmm.
they lost to Michigan, but well maybe not Fields, but Stroud lost to Michigan twice
Yeah, he lost to
now.
them boys twice. Yeah.
So yeah, he lost to Michigan twice, but it's like at least he was putting up style points. Like we could
Yeah, they
still get
look
in the
good doing it.
tournament. We're
Mm-hmm.
good. Like we both made it. Them boys said, "Nah, the only way you can win is you gonna have to beat these boys." And then we a little nervous about y'all playing Iowa. That's the crazy thing about it. Like,
That's the crazy man.
and
Speaking
then
of Iowa,
he jumped up in that portal so fast. They
he
said
had
Ryan
to get
Day,
out of there,
yeah, Ryan
boy.
Day said this ain't working for
Hey,
neither one of us.
they went looking. I seen it. They talking about bro might end up at Miami. I'm like a younger Tyler Van Dyke. They doing it all over
Tyler
again.
Van Dyke.
They doing it all
What
over
was
again.
Buddy that was there first?
Oh,
Tate Martell.
yeah, boy, that boy played about 6 seasons, didn't he? What? Oh man,
5 schools, 6 seasons.
hey, that boy came out of Bishop Gorman. They thought he was gonna be the one.
I knew he was too small.
Well, that was a throwback right
It was a
there, man.
throwback, right? Tate
I
Martell.
like that.
Shout out to QB1.
Hey man, I like that. I love that show, bro.
They need to bring that back.
And they got season 3 with Bryce Young on Tubi.
Oh, they switched platforms on me.
Yeah, they got how
I
that
might have to
Tubi,
get on
man.
Tubi.
It's
Hey,
free.
Tubi, I heard Tubi be cracking.
Hey, bro, if you like the raw cut,
Unedited.
low budget, unedited. And that is a wrap for episode 9 of the Dukes of the Gridiron Podcast. Make sure y'all give my guy Gilkey a follow. And you can follow your boy at Brandon Lee TV as well. And tune in for all the latest. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. With all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakney. Until next time, hey, we out.